Freedom is not free. Hi, welcome guys. Welcome to my channel. And here is me, Brandon. Yeah. Uh, um, yeah. As you see, the title is about sharing thoughts, but at the same time, before I talk about the sharing thoughts, I want to share about the one news about Korea right now. For those people who don't know, like I think most of the people already know, but yeah, I want to talk about it. Is that Korea? Yeah, the citizen finally find out like what's the previous Korean president Yu, like what he mentioned about the Korea right now they are being invaded. It like it's a soft invade by the Chinese Communist Party is somehow real somehow. Okay, so up until right now, no direct evidence showing is anything true or false, but there's a lot of things just happened because recently they have a local election. It's not a president election, but it's a local government election. So usually what happened with the local election is that yeah, people just choose for their own state's government. But then like this time they just found that there's a lot of voters ticket was being thrown away into the dustbin and without they knowing why, like because everything they did is like according to the procedure. So like their tickets was being like their vote is being like a dump. Then they found it in the dustbin, and they through the CCTV they found out that for the boxes that's already sealed, somehow they just unseal it and put more tickets and the votes into it. Then they just say yeah onto something. Yeah, so up until right now, do they say that there's a direct invade by CCP, not directly onto the vote, but up until right now, they just found that there's a bunch of Korean like policemen. They don't really speak Korean, and they speak more on Chinese. So they like they just trying to understand it like yeah, maybe they are the people from China, and somehow I don't know why they just get into a Korean government thingy. So another thing I need to mention about it right here is that for the Korean people, they are not like a European. Yeah, Europeans like really love this and just saying that yeah, you know what, you just need to embrace everything for them. No, I don't give a shit after that. Like they are really having a strong pride about their own country. For the normal Koreans, yeah, they just having a very strong pride. So for having Chinese people from China to get into their country and just get their policemen like a position and for doing the things that they are running that is supposed to be run by the Korean people, they'll be so mad onto it. So yeah, it's a very interesting thing just happening right now, and the Korean citizens right now is like ask like they are requesting for just revote instead of yeah, instead of just let it go. They just want to vote it again. Yeah, but up until right now, just so many things just happened, and the government what they did after they receiving all the complaints, they just oh yeah saying sorry and just the person in charge take down like he just turned down from his own position. To be honest, I think it's supposed to be something much more serious because actually this can be caused onto with a jail time or something. But if they put him onto the jail, it's gonna continue the cycle. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, which kind of cycle, like the previous president like being thrown into a jail and always like this kind of like a cycle just going on and on. Yeah, not only once but twice, like basically all the current presidents. Yeah, so how should I say that? Unless unless they can understand the jail as something that is not that serious, it's much more like just for the public people to get to pay their mistakes. Maybe in this sense that the jail will be much more making sense, but up until right now, their laws, yeah, no matter are you a good guy or a bad guy, you are meant to be accountable by the laws, and somehow if you're a bad guy or we say much more selfish guy, then you will just think more and you will just make sure that you don't get into the jail that easily. Yeah. things just always going into this way. Then I want to talk about like a free speech, yeah, because there's a lot of people talking about the free speech, and they just say that whatever like conspiracy they want to talk about, right, without a strong evidence or like a direct evidence into it. Yeah. So basically, I think the freedom of speech itself, especially recently, there's a lot of things talking about our church, people talking something onto our church like in a bad way, and if like our church people talking about other leaders as well. Yeah, I mean, it's just happening here and there. Everybody having like different opinions, and people want to speak up. But I think there's a lot of there's a thing that in common that even though we say that freedom of speech we need to try to do is that we don't do anything. It's not that we don't do anything not to hurt other people, but we don't do any narrative that is fake intentionally. And if you're saying that, oh, I'm just showing partial truth, but a lot of time the partial truth will be something really fake, and uh the like for the society, like people don't really care about like what's the process, to be honest. They just want to know what is being shown in public. So a lot of time with the media, like especially when the media is just like trying to push the propaganda, uh, they have a very high chance for the media just to, yeah, be the one who just helping the evil side people. I would say the bad guys, the selfish guy, who just trying to escape from himself and not being accountable, but and not being punishable. Yeah. So that's the very bad part about like for the freedom of speech, because everything that in the recent society you thought is like totally normal, like compassions and talking about freedom and everybody have a common right, have a same equal rights here and there, and letting women to be much more powerful than men. Up until right now, like a lot of things is being created, or we say like being balanced onto that sweet spot. Yeah, and actually, because we call it sweet spot, so what does it mean? It's like that very vulnerable point of it, and it's so easy to be account. So think in this way: I say freedom of speech, and we love when we say that we in common, and we want to build a country that serve God, and no matter what kind of God you're serving, but yeah, we just serve God, and and people can just talk about their own opinions, and yeah, and so on and so on. Yeah, very free world, but with the common goals by the people saying that, yeah, we want to have the freedom of speech. If I'm the enemy, I can just use this so powerfully. I just say that, yeah, there are a bunch of people who don't even understand the society. Okay, firstly, I throw these statements and people just know, yeah. They will just agree, yeah, your boss don't know, your boss don't know like the society, your boss don't know your life, and even like the government, sometimes they don't even know the citizens' life. Yeah, sometimes, and somehow actually it will be solved after a while. But yeah, usually people focus on now, and whatever being focused now, like as long as it being recorded, it will be something that you can be accusing. Yeah, so it just happened in this way. Then after that, I would just say that, yeah. So the people just saying, and the people who say that they know everything, they're so arrogant. Why they are arrogant? Because they believe in God, and I just say a specific religion. Yeah, I just say a specific religion to it, and people are just like, oh yeah, like they are too just having too much arrogance onto it. They are stupid, and why they're being stupid? Because they have a bunch of church people stand together, and that's why they have become stupid because they don't think. Yeah, like they're just making a very easy statement without any like precautions and anything inside. And if you're just trying to just look onto it, I just call it a partial truth. And why is called a partial truth? Because if you apply it to some certain people, yes, it works. But at the same time, if you apply onto another part of the people, it don't really works. Yeah. But how the partial truth works is that people don't really study. People just look at the labels and they say yes or no. So I really hate people just asking me, oh, just answer me yes or no. I'm like, if there's a chance, I want to speak more. Yeah. So yeah, after that, they just said that okay, a certain religion might being rude, right? So the next step, we need to shake the religion, and after you shake the religion, to be honest, because every religion itself, there's definitely a business system. Definitely, they need to run a NGO like a organization that's non-government and also non-profit, and they will just have a lot of memberships with their teaching. So usually they have institution, and because they are receiving like their members money, so they definitely will have their finance and accounting, and they will have their everything. Just gonna have like a specific law for the religion, right? And it was made to be good, but somehow people are trying to make it accountable, especially when the law just mean for the good people and not for the bad people. I'll explain this a little bit later. But yeah, so with all these things, so basically if you crush a religion, basically it means that you are crushing a part of the society that just crumbles everything down. Yeah, so the freedom of speech right here in the narrative becomes something just protecting their attack instead of like to protect what is being served or like to stabilize the society. Yeah, so it just becomes something as much more like a weapon instead of like a shield. Yeah. And just now I'm mentioning like the law for good people and the law for bad people in an easy sense. The law for the good people, it just requires people having a much more higher discipline and like assuming people don't really try to get into the gray area of the law. Like maybe you can try to see the European countries. Yeah, usually their law is much more like the law for the good people. So people having like their morality, they have their conscience that always working in their daily life and common sense as well. So that's why they don't really write everything into the law, but somehow they being invaded by outsiders, and the outsiders just trying to claim everything for themselves and not trying to blend into the society, but like trying to change the society or like just to keep their own ethnics, and because of it, and just making the whole European right now, the Europes right now become such a disaster. Yeah, so basically the whole European is going through an another history that Lebanon just went through. I hope it's not, but it seems like it is going on. And the politicians, yeah, they just thought that they're having they're having a good heart, but no. Yeah, they just gonna learn their lesson with the extremists. For the law for the bad people, you can try to look at China, yeah. But China, they actually like if you just read through their law, right? A lot of time it's not even making sense. Like it's not even letting me to leave, but trying to make everyone to be accountable. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so because making everyone accountable, it just means that I can just deal with everyone. So that's why it says that the law for the bad people. But usually we say that um, when you want to have a free world, or like you want to have a world that is peace and good, you are using the law for good people instead for bad people. Like because for good law for good people, it just means that those good people were just having like a good time. They just keep their discipline and not trying to play with the law. And the same for the freedom of speech. Like the people in a much more advanced country, they were trying to mind about that, whereas they were just trying to mind about the truth, like accountability about their truth, that they are using the evidence they are talking about, and instead of like trying to just go through everything, whatever labels in their mind, calling you communists, calling you Nazis, yeah, that's to be honest, right now America is so crazy with all that. People just throwing labels like without knowing anything and just calling it the freedom of speech. To be honest, you know what? I feel like I just looking at a bunch of kindergartens, and kindergartens people like just throwing a bunch of like labels and without saying that why. Uh, I mean, because in my life, yeah, when I went to the kindergarten, basically everybody have a game instead. Are you my friend? Yeah. So when some kid just suddenly randomly just start that, you are my friend, you are not my friend, you are my friend, you are not my friend, and you were just, I mean, I did. I just went to the kid and like, how about me? But actually, what does friend mean? We don't even contact right now anymore. Like not even after like I get into primary school. No, we don't even talk. So yeah, what's the point to calling it friend in that sense? And friend, what kind of definition you can try to give onto it in that sense? Yeah. So yeah, it just become like a bunch of like the fancy words that just to let you feel like you are educated, you are well behaved, but actually it just means nothing. Yeah, just like a lot of time we would call it common sense. Yeah, so like freedom of speech itself, inside this context, there's a lot of things actually we need to learn about it. Yeah, so if you want to just apply on your own opinion, you just need to like mention it very clearly. Like this is my opinion and this is my logic inside it, and make it much more a little bit philosophical. Like I mean, because you need to know, people need to know like how you think about it. So philosophy means that you love question, you know, you love the truth and something like this. So you show your process. Yeah. So it's supposed to be done in this way. But a lot of time we don't really get into this kind of system. Yeah, a lot of time. Yeah, especially with people's fear onto like being exposed. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's why. But yeah, this is basically about like my content for this time, and I hope you all have a good week. Yeah, wisely using your freedom of speech in your daily life, and yeah, see you in my next video. Peace.